smaller.
You're looking different, man. You change your hairstyle from the last time we spoke.
Yeah, I had a haircut. Like it?
You're looking more Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a
Is
very
that good
Chinese
or
haircut.
is that
I
good
don't
or
know. I
bad?
mean, it's just different. But your
I'll take it
state
as
is
a
really good
compliment.
today. Your taste state is very good
Mm. I think so. Man. I think that's one of the reasons why I close today.
because of
I
your
have a
state.
very, yeah, I have a very warm energy today.
More confident, like, oh, I want to be friends with this guy.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm back to doing my vices, bro. Vape, jerking off, eating shit food. I don't know how I keep going into cycles. I guess when I'm not gaming that much, it happens this way. Like, I become my old creep self.
I think you should stop beating yourself up because it's fun, man. Like you're doing a lot of things
Inner
right.
game.
And, yeah, and just because you did some vices doesn't really change your value. Or you shouldn't look at yourself as someone who's doing less because of it.
Yeah, you're right, man. That's what my therapist said as well. Like, I should be more kinder to myself. I'm very cruel to myself.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It's like catch 22. It's kind of like it's good and bad because it really gets drives me, but then I do get burnt out. So these days I'm trying to get the balance. Like there's some bad self talk, but then there's some good. Like sometimes I'm okay with doing vices. I'm doing all right, I
Mm,
tell myself these days. I don't have to be the richest
mm.
guy in the world or like the best game guy. I don't have to have the best game.
I think there's a saying I say to my clients. It's pursue but not obsess. And pursue means self improvement, do better than less. But also not obsessing means enjoying the process. So if you say to yourself, I'm doing better than last week, last month, and I'm pushing myself, I think that's like the sweet spot, bro. And especially for you, like if you've been jerking off for a while and now you're doing better, you haven't been doing that for weeks and you just slipped into it like a couple times, I think you improved. You should give yourself some credit.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very.
exactly.
You're like a wise man. You're like that guy from the sensei from Karate Kid.
Aikido.
Wax on, wax on, wax off. Yeah.
When women give me the shit test, I fucking Aikido that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I I tried to. There was this one girl. I said, "Hey, excuse me, just 1 sec," and she's like, "Okay, just 1 sec." I think 1 sec passed, and I'm like, I froze at that moment. I was like, "Oh fuck, I didn't pass the shit test."
How would you pass that though?
Then I would say anything. I would say something like, "Okay, then 1 more sec, 1 more sec."
What I would have said is like, okay, the 1 sec was to stop you, but our story that we tell our grandkids starts now.
Mm,
Some shit like that.
the verbal shit, nice, good
I'm really
verbal.
good at making things very romantic. Like,
And it kind of suits your style. It kind of suits your character as well because you are a romantic.
yeah, really, I've been a lot about that because I don't know, looking at Todd V stuff doesn't work for me, but when I do my stuff,
Mm,
it really works for me. So, like,
mm,
I use this line. On the first date, if I'm not going to close her, sometimes before she leaves, I'm like, oh, let me steal a kiss before you leave. and hits
Mm,
very well.
that's great. That's great. Steal a kiss. It sounds. It
It's
sounds
kind of
like
like a line from a
sounds
movie.
fun. Yeah, it sounds fun as well.
Yeah.
And you
All
notice,
right.
like, do you know the Polo Kid guy on Instagram?
No, what is he?
Yeah, so I saw a couple of his videos and very interesting. He's very provocative. His opening line is, they say that sex, if men and women have sex, you got to burn like 1,000 to 2,000 calories. You want to go do some exercise with me? That's his opening line, and it kind of hits. But come to think of it, it's like you kind of don't want to attract those girls though.
Depends what your goal is. If your goal is just trying to have sex, then it's a good filter. But with these guys, I do worry, like, what the success rate is, right? Because on the Instagram, you're only seeing the positive interactions. It's like this one guy I saw, who every time a girl says she has a boyfriend, he says like, "Oh, how long have you had that problem?"
Yeah.
Right? But I started saying that, but it never actually gets me their number or anything, right? It makes them laugh,
Mm.
sure. So that's good for an Instagram clip. But uh, I I did it in a Todd V boot camp, and Todd V told me, "Yeah, you rather say something like, 'Oh, I won't hold it against you,' instead of because then you can continue the interaction. When I say stuff like, 'How long have you had that problem?' It will make her laugh, but it's not really going to like work in my favor."
I think it depends. I think a smaller rate of population girls are going to respond to that
Yeah, I
because
guess.
those girls are really not loyal.
Yeah, for sure. But I was thinking like, I was thinking about game, and there's some ways of game that work kind of like once in a while, right? And then I was thinking of adjusting my game to make it so it works mostly, right?
Mm,
It would work 70-80% of the time. And I'm really focusing on that these days instead of like Todd's game that works with like the low self-esteem girls or some other game that low works with some other kind of girl. I'm really focusing on these days in like the James Bond game, let's say, where Sergio told me about this, where it works most of the time. He didn't tell me in that way. He said, "You want to be James Bond, because then you can get most girls." Right now, I have like flirty fuckboy game, and I'm gonna get a certain percentage of the girls with it. Might even be high percentage, but I'm not gonna get most girls. And I've really been thinking about that. And one of the observations I had when thinking about that was less flirty, more romantic, uh, more like getting the connection building, and that way you can get most girls.
yeah, kind of makes sense. I think this is a good way to make an analogy. It's just like riding a bike, just like poker. You want to learn how to balance yourself first. That's like the 80/20 rule. And then once you get used to it, you could do some stunts. You could be good in certain situation. So equivalent of game, you're learning the general rules for game. You're learning to balance yourself, and then you can do some stunts later.
Okay, yeah, that's a good. You're like so wise, man, compared to last year. It's insane. Like,
Omega 3, bro. You gotta take it.
I don't think it's fucking omega 3, bro. Like, come on. It's doing hard shit. You've been doing a lot of hard stuff past couple of years,
That
especially last year, becoming a coach, doing Instagram. Initially, I was like, you're just wasting time on Instagram. But now you proved me wrong. Not many people prove me wrong. Like, and I'm really surprised by that.
thanks. Appreciate that, bro.
What were
Appreciate
the points? Yeah, no worries, man. I'm always speaking the truth.
it. What were the points? Let me take a look. What's that?
Yeah.
It says there's two indicators of success in learning pickup. Oh, this is an interesting point, man. So since I've been teaching some guys, I notice there's like two factors I could use to know if this guy is going to learn pickup fast or not. First one is control versus release. If they're naturally more in release, maybe not too much release, but more in release means they're going to learn faster because they have more mental bandwidth. They have more access to their brains. So they're absorbing information like sponge. The second indicator is arrogance versus acceptance. Too much arrogance, you're going to think you're God. You're going to think that your opinion is better than the coach, which that was my case when I was. And versus too much acceptance. Too much acceptance means you're giving too much power to the coach, too much power to somebody to the extent that you think they are God. So having acceptance, more acceptance is those guys learn faster.
But also, bro, this can be situational because I was thinking about me and Chris. Right, I hung out with that guy. And when it came to night game, I was more accepting of his suggestions. But when it came to day game, I completely brushed it off, whatever he had to say.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But I guess it really depends on the person being able to assess where to accept and where to let go of the advice.
It's also related to intelligence as well, because there's this thing called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It means when you're not that good, people tend to think they have really high potential. They think they're good. But once they learn a bit more, they learn really quickly how much they suck. And then the confidence incrementally gets better and better with skill set.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know Dunning-Kruger. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, bro.
I think about Chris a lot, man. Like the stuff he taught us. Not
Send him a
you that
love
much,
mail.
but yeah.
Send him
What? You sent him?
Send him a
Really?
romantic email. No, you do
Oh,
it.
I should. I've sent him voice messages, but he doesn't respond anymore. His ego is the issue, man.
Yeah, exactly. Ego.
Same reason he unfollowed and stopped talking to you. Instead, if I were him, I would learn from you how to get good at Instagram. I would learn from you. Ego got in the
Yeah.
way. It's such a shame because he could really do it. His interactions are amazing. He could really get some good reels, right?
Yeah. To be honest, like when we first met him, like we were kind of blown away. And I still remember what you said. Like, if I hang out with this guy, I'm gonna be the man. That's what you said.
Yeah. His night game's so good, man.
And then you ditched me. And then you left me for the sewers, for the rats.
Bro, I didn't leave you, bro. I was just doing a night game with him a lot. That was
I
it.
know. Yeah.
I feel like there's some unresolved conflict there between us because of that. because you mentioned it a few times. Maybe I
I-
do, but maybe I get that way. I apologize.
uh, I don't know. Maybe it's my problem as well. So can't really tell you.
But it's my problem for sure. So I'll apologize for my part in it. But
All
I
good,
do
man.
get distracted by shiny things.
I think you do. That's a good observation. I think you do.
Girls tell me all
Uh,
the time as well.
You get distracted by value. I guess that is shiny object.
Yeah, girls as well. One girl, I might start dating another girl, and there's this Australian girl that says all the time because I make plans with meeting up with her in Europe, but then I might be hanging out with another girl and I completely forget to call her and stuff, and then she gets mad. She's like, "Oh, you
Hmm.
must have found a blonde or something." I'm like,
Hmm.
"No, it's not like that," but I guess it is like that. you know?
Australian girls be like, "Oh, lock it in, lock it in. Let's lock it in Tuesday."
Yeah, I mean, we've been trying. Me and her, we've been trying to. She wants to come to Sweden and hang out for a week, and me and her
Hmm.
have been trying to get schedule a call to finalize it. But the call,
Lock it in.
it just yeah, it's not logging in.
No lucky, lucky.
Something like that. What's
Yeah.
the so I guess yeah, you're right with this control and release stuff, and you also mostly right about the acceptance and ego stuff as well. Ego is a big thing. I think we've had this discussion many times. Guys with too much ego, they can't learn as quick.
Bro,
You know?
interesting take from what we just talked about. We said you were prone to shiny things, right?
Yeah.
I think the flip side of the coin from shiny object is having a larger perspective. So it's like just like business. I can work on a lot of things at once, but I only work on one thing at a time. For example, lead generation, closing clients, giving them coaching service, mm, making content. Like there's a lot of shiny things I could touch on, but you also have to balance that with perspective. Where am I going in the long run? Okay, I'm gonna work on this and then that incrementally in time, with time. And yeah, I think you need to balance those two things. Just like women as well. Like yeah, if this girl is hot and she's like trouble, she's like a shiny object. But where is this going in the long run? So it's perspective, right? You need to balance that shit.
Yeah, you're right. I think this has been my problem all my life because I'm not able to balance. When I'm really going, I'm like do everything, fitness, diet, fucking work, women. I'm doing everything. And then I get burnt out and then I don't do nothing for months. There needs to be
I,
balance, like
I totally understand. Like I've been burned out for the last week, to be honest.
yeah, were you doing a lot of things?
Uh, like I was trying to push myself to solve a problem, like solve the lead generation problem. Trying to push myself like a couple times throughout the day, and that really burnt me out, man. That
Also,
burnt me
like
out.
what you just told me before the call, you were doing a lot of game as well, right? On top of that,
Yeah, but
and
game
I
was
guess
kind of
you
like
gym as well.
liberating.
Really?
Yeah, game's kind of liberating. It's like doing something hard and then actually doing it. It's like cold shower. After you do it, you feel good. But you know what,
But
bro?
I think
Let,
for you, yeah, go on.
yeah, let me share a perspective, and you tell me if this applies to you as well. So I think we found the sweet spot of like if I push myself this hard, I'm gonna get burned out. But if I push myself this much, I'm gonna have fun. So it's like the sweet spot of comforts and doing something hard. So for me, if I touch on two or three things, uh, that I'm trying to improve, that's like too much. For example, game wise, I'm trying to touch on my verbal and my non-verbal. That's like too much information. But if I'm only touching on non-verbal, I'll just relax at this point of the interaction. That's the sweet spot for me. What's your thoughts on that?
Um, Makes sense. So, like when you're, let's say, in an interaction, if you focus on too many things, you get burnt out by the interaction. But let's say if you focus on just, oh, I'm not relaxed right now, I should just relax and continue the conversation as is. That's the
Mm.
sweet spot. Is that what you're saying?
Sorry, like you kind of cut in and out.
Oh, what I wanted to say is, so like in an interaction, you just focus on one thing at a time, sort of,
Oh
right?
yeah,
That's the gist
yeah,
of it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think so. Because when I was doing too many things, I was worrying too much, and then it would kind of like become a job, and then I would get burnt out because it's a job.
Mm.
But these days, also, what I noticed these days, I can really assess what the girl needs. So through her micro expressions and through her body language, I can tell, okay, she needs me to be more flirty right now, and then I just focus on that, nothing else.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a good perspective, man.
Yeah.
I came to the same conclusion. And I think you're right about focusing on one thing at a time. Like right now, I'm focusing on too many things. I'm focusing on travel. I'm trying to eat clean as well, trying to fit my workouts while traveling, but also trying to make music, but also trying to do software development. And I was just like getting
Also trying to
nothing
do a
done.
podcast. Yeah.
It's tough. But now it's more streamlined. I'm like, okay,
Mm.
it's Sunday, right? So I thought, okay, we stick to Sundays. We do the half an hour, 1 hour podcast, whatever. Then today I made sure I don't travel too much. I just stay in the city. I just focus on cleaning my car, and maybe at the end of the day, if I still have time, I make some music. But that's it. Nothing too much. Not like trying to do 50 different things and like, yeah,
I
I
think
think I
that's
need to learn more
where
from you on that.
um, I think we can learn a lot from Kyle as well. So I think that's where structure really helps you out. So we've been talking about structure versus freestyling, and freestyling is great for creativity, but structure actually gives you the mental space. It's like if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you don't really need to use mental energy. So in that sense, I think we need to do what's called maintenance. For example, if I'm juggling five things at once, like gym, pickup, lead generation, content, blah, 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 I think we need to pick 1 to 2 things we're going to focus on and then really pick a lane. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this better and I'm going to do this better for A and B activities. But for maintenance activities, C, D, and E, it's going to be like repetitive, kind of repetitive. So I think that's a good idea to have, like the structure.
Yeah. It's like there's this course by one of the pickup coaches called The System that Chris used to talk about.
Mm,
It's all about like forming systems, right?
mm, yeah, totally.
I've been trying
So,
to do that. Like getting out of bed the same time, taking
mm.
shower the same time, and then doing yeah, I've even downloaded this app. It's called Structured, funnily enough,
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, every morning I wake up, I set up my schedule for the day. And then it really, you're right, it frees up a lot of mental space because I can just see in the app what I need to do. And I waste a lot less time procrastinating, like being on Twitter or Instagram. And because I know, okay, I only have this much time to do this. And then I need to really other task. and it doesn't take
Yeah.
that much mental energy and doesn't burn me out that way. As long as I don't try
Yeah.
to do too many things.
I think just to become a bit more technical, I think having those structure makes like a pre-concluded conclusion for us to like not waste our energy on what you said, like TikTok, Instagram, and just to get a little bit more deeper. I think we're always fighting with our ego and our lust and our like addiction. So yeah, that's a lot of mental energy, you know? If
Yeah,
you're
but
looking
also,
at posts,
go on, sorry.
no. So if we're looking at posts and we have this ego, oh, like I don't think I'm better than him. He's better than me. Like you're losing mental energy. If you're watching women, and like bikini posts, maybe you're lusting and now you're losing mental energy. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
We've spoken about this theory I have, right? You have like 100 points of mental energy every day. And
Yeah.
let's say if you're doing cold plunge, you might lose 10 points.
Mm.
And if you're like having sex, you might gain 20 points. Have we spoken about this? That's how I view life these days, mostly.
Yeah, we did back in Australia last year.
Ah, okay, it's been a while. But yeah, I'm really like, and I heard Joe Rogan talk about this the other day. And I was like, okay,
Mm.
so he thinks the same way as well. He
Yeah.
doesn't, he puts cold plunge, he doesn't think about cold plunge that way, but he thinks about other stuff like if you do specific tasks, you might lose a lot of mental energy on that. You might lose 20 points. But I was surprised, like two different people across the world came up with the same analogy or system, sort of, or
Yeah.
understanding.
Yeah, exactly. I have a hypothesis around that. I think, you know what? If you start to track how much you're pushing yourself and incrementally push yourself more and more and more and more, yeah, you would have more mental energy in general, like more points to spend.
Okay. But also, writing shit down that I need to do that day, it helps me a lot mentally because a lot of times I'm like, oh, I need to do this, this, this. But when I write this down, I'm like, okay, I won't have time to do this. So the best thing I need to do is just do these things today.
Mm.
And then
Yeah,
tomorrow I can make space for another thing.
yeah. It's like cleaning up your room, I think. You
Yeah,
don't
but
have
you're
to spend
cleaning up your
mental
mental
energy.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Have you
is
been
quite
cleaning up your
interesting.
room, by the way?
Yeah, bro, I did. I did.
Really? Wow. 'Cause you were like notoriously dirty.
Yeah. What was I trying to say? Yeah, it's kind of interesting, man, how people get to similar conclusions, even throughout like different religions. It's different God, but similar learnings and similar like testaments.
Yeah, you're right. But you know what I say? Ideas have a mind of their own. They exist, and then you just tune into them.
Yeah, that's kind of right because we are observers of the world, and everyone is observing something that's already existing. So that makes sense.
Yeah, because for example, let's say the biggest idea in technology these days, AI, but
Mm.
a few different companies started together that are also at the top right now. Elon Musk came up with OpenAI with Sam Altman,
Mm.
and at the same time there was this other company, Anthropic, that was also coming out. But it's like this. Okay, Google in 2014, I think, released a paper on LLM,
Mm.
like large language models, and then suddenly a bunch of guys had this idea to do AI that way.
Mm.
Completely different approach than what had been tried before. But I think it was just the time in the world to have AI. It's not like it was one person's idea. It was just time. The technology was there. The cards had enough processing capacity
Mm.
now. It was just time. If Sam Altman or Elon Musk wouldn't have come up with it, some other guy would have, like the Anthropic guy, or if all of these guys didn't come up with, there would be a third guy come up with the same idea because the idea had existed now, and these guys just tuned into it. So that's how I see it.
Mm.
Like it's just with technology, like iPhone and smartphones, they existed. Like there were other companies also doing touch screens, and then of course Steve Jobs had the best execution. But I feel like ideas, they have a life of their own, and then whoever does the best execution is the one who wins, or people just tune into these ideas when it's time.
That's interesting. I think we can balance that idea with perspective as well. I think of it like this. For example, Kyle's program, it was all about control, 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 control. Control your actions, control your nonverbals, and then yeah, like try to have like better nonverbals. But once I had a different perspective, I looked in a different direction. Owen Cook, we talked about release muscle. So it's like a new paradigm. So I think, yeah, it is time for us to, since we have the computing power, we have the graphic card, so it's a great foundation for us to have like AI. But also, I think it's perspective as well. Like somebody actually thought about it and then had that idea, made it into a real life thing. And then now everyone's looking at that perspective. Then now everyone's competing to make that shit. So I think, yeah, we can think of it as two ways.
Okay, that's a good perspective.
Yeah.
Right, what's the other thing you were thinking of talking about?
One sec. One sec. Oh, why pros measure success and keep data. So, yeah. You can hear me, right?
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
I think about myself, and I think I'm the first guy I've heard of that keeps like data on his interactions with girls in pickup.
Mm. Along with the
I don't
German
know
coach.
any other guy. Yeah, and that's the only other guy I know. But I was doing it before I met him, so we had the same
Mm.
idea.
Mm.
We tuned
And
into
now
that
I have the
idea.
same idea.
But I think for you, it's more like perspective because I told you about it, so you had perspective. So it
Mm.
proves what we were talking about earlier. When
Mm.
someone has this idea and puts it into action, then other people might get that perspective,
Mm. But also, we do need to
right?
think about it in this way as well. Guys in other fields are already doing it. Guys who are in the
Yeah,
gym
of course.
industry, bodybuilders, they're already keeping track. So yeah, that's a thing to think about. And also, I think this is a good way to think about it. Like, you can achieve greatness with the 80-20 rule. You could get ahead of 90% of men just by hitting like the right things, like work on nonverbals, work on the verbals, and then think about what you're lacking, and then all this shit. But if you want to really go pro, you need to track shit. It's like if you do 10 interaction, how many numbers are you getting? Out of those 10 numbers, how many girls are you texting and how many text back? And then how many of those girls go on first dates? How many of those girls go on second dates, third dates? So different data is going to indicate different solutions to your problem. So that's why I'm saying you need different, you need to track your data.
Yeah. And then you can have metrics, right? Like for me, every 30 girls I talk to, I sleep with one. So then I need to reduce that to 10 is to 1.
Mm.
But you know, bro, also recently it's increased to like, let's say 50 to 1. But
Mm.
also because my game is not at peak anymore. But I have also been doing riskier sets, right?
Mm.
Approaching Latinas, which are not
Yeah,
good for Indian guys. And so it reduces my success rate. So I guess there's like nuance
I
to
think,
the data as well.
yeah, exactly. Nuance. I like that word. I think data has flaws in itself without perspective, without like direction. If you're looking for instant dates, that could be your focus. If you're looking for dates or closing, that could be your metric. And depending on that, you could have like different strategies. So I guess the smart way to think about this is really focusing on what you want. For example, I want more closes. I want more closes. That's going to be different from a guy who's telling himself, I just want genuine connections. I just want to find the one girl, right? So you need different metrics for different goals.
Yeah, right now I'm tracking broad spectrum of metrics. It kind of so when I need to work on something, it helps me all the previous data as well. I think I have like 12 metrics, even like time of day, equals outdoors. And when I assess this data, it's clear that everything has some effect.
I
Indoors
can't
and
hear you,
outdoors
man.
has huge effect. Oh, can you hear me now?
It's like very choppy.
How about now? Better?
Still a bit choppy.
But
Mm,
probably better now though.
yeah, yeah, a bit better.
Yeah. What I was saying is I keep track of like 12 metrics, and it really helps when I switch focus. I can look at past data, and it really helps these days.
Mm,
And you know, as I'm doing more and more game, I realize before I was focusing on just closes. So being direct was good, but these days being indirect is okay as well. And you can
mm,
change it within 30 minutes to direct, like by being more flirty and stuff. Because my main issue with Latinas
mm,
has always been I approach them direct and they blow me off. But these days, when I approach Latin American girls, I'm doing indirect, like, hey, can you take a photo of me? Or hey, like I remember I had an instant date where I ended up kissing this girl from Chile. And this is
mm,
the first time I had an instant kiss close on a Latina, right?
mm,
And my open was that we were both looking at a rally, and I was like, "Hey, do you know what this rally is about?" And then she was like, "No," but we had really deep eye contact, so I knew I could make this flirty. So then I just ended up sitting down with her, talking to her for 10 minutes, then taking her to a bar, then from there another bar, then making out with her. So
mm,
it's it's uh it's interesting that it's just the game is ever evolving, bro. Like it changes so much, and you have so much perspective as you game more. Like I'm more initially I was all about like direct approach, but these days I'm really a fan of indirect. But you, with being indirect, you have so much more time to play around with the situation.
mm. Yeah, more opportunities. It's yeah, it's like a soft close instead of a hard close from the beginning.
Yeah, so I kind of have this thing where I can get maybe girls. Before I was just getting yes girls, but these days I'm getting maybe girls as well, just by being a lot more indirect.
Mm. That's amazing.
Yeah, and eventually I want to get to the no girls as well.
Mhm.
If I don't find a really nice girl, because it's just mental peace as well. But it's just such a fucking. But you stop gaming, then you like we were talking about Owen Cook and how swagger, yeah, is like you have to constantly maintain your swagger. And I
Yeah.
think about that as well. Even if I find a really nice girl, I would still have to do game.
Yeah. Yeah. Like even if you find the right girl, I think if you don't have like a good foundation of socializing, like your vibe is gonna go down. You're gonna have more anxiety.
Yeah, but also another thing I noticed this week is social interaction doesn't even matter with other girls. It raises my state. So just talking to friends or strangers, it could be a dude or an old lady, and it will still increase my state. So I think just socializing, like you said a minute ago, just socializing can maintain your state. I have a friend, he
Yeah.
has a fiance now, a long time girlfriend that's not fiance. He takes his dog to the dog park. He's a natural, never had any problem with
Mm.
girls. And he takes his dog to the dog park and always talks about girls with dogs. And I'm like, you have a girlfriend though, but he's like, yeah, but it's okay. I'm just talking. I'm not doing it. I'm not even flirting. And it just tells him that, oh, for him, it's like, oh, it just tells me, this is exactly what he said. It just tells me I still got it. So in a way,
Mm.
he's maintaining his state without even knowing he's maintaining his state.
Yeah. I think that could be potentially like a sweet spot when you have a girlfriend. You're not cheating, you're not doing anything sketchy, but also you're just being a normal human being, just talking to people.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this last girl. I was also, bro, like, you know, I'm getting in these relationships now where nothing I could do would turn the girl off. Like this last girl I was
Mm.
dating, I was fucking other girls. I was telling her all about this all, and she's like, "I'm okay with that as long as you don't tell me." And I was like, "No, but I'm not that kind of guy." Like we were talking about marriage, and I told her inside me there's like two guys. There's one guy who wants to settle down, have a couple kids, go open a ranch, just chill. And then there's this other guy, this who's like a rock star, who's fucking like five girls a week sometimes, and like driving fast cars and fucking drinking and like eating shit food, just like complete piece of shit. And I told her like I don't know how I would maintain a marriage or a long-term relationship like that. And she said to me, "Yeah, just don't tell her. Just have stuff on the side. Just don't tell her." And to her, I responded, "Yeah, but I'm not. If I have a wife, I can't lie to her. It's not the kind of
Mm.
guy I am." But this also brings me back. Like once you have a lot of game, it's like girls let you get away with anything. She was like, "Yeah, but if we get married, you can just fuck some girls. I don't care. Just let me have you for most of the time." And I was like, well,
Bike,
just
Viking lifestyle.
sorry,
It's like a
I
Viking
didn't get it.
lifestyle.
Was that the Viking lifestyle? I didn't know that.
I just made that up. You have like a wife,
Oh,
and
okay.
then you invade other countries, and now you fuck others.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. No way.
No fucking way.
I always remember that, man. You know, with Chris, I was telling him he asked more about my life because I guess he wanted to build a collection, but he was not present. You have to read Kyle's fucking emails, man. Seriously, me and my friend Dustin have been reading them. They're so spot on. And he's like, yeah, most guys are thinking about what to say, but they're not present in the conversation, and you can see, the girls can see. But when I was talking to Chris, I could see as well. He was
Mm,
there, but not there. Every time I would tell him something deep, he would be like, "Ah, interesting, interesting," and I was like, "The fuck are you saying, mate?
that's
Like, you're not
annoying.
really listening." Yeah, and it seemed like a lot of game guys do that, and then think about what to say next. And that was one issue with Chris, where I told him this as well. Like, it's like he's not listening. He doesn't care.
Mm, yeah.
I don't know why I
In my def
went on that tangent. Go on.
yeah, that was a random rant about Chris. But in my definition, that's control muscle. Controlling your thoughts and actions. Thinking about what to say. Control, control.
But also, you can't be too relaxed because that's the flip side of this coin. You have to think about some things because I've been realizing a lot of these things I do, it fucks up my interactions, you know?
Yep.
And I need to reel them in and think a bit at least.
Yeah, of course. It's like sailing a boat, you know? You do have the sails up, but you still have to maneuver the keys. And
Yeah,
in my
okay.
opinion, not all authenticity is fit for socializing. I could be
Yeah,
authentically tired, but that's not going to help me socialize.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're
So
right.
I think
I was,
it's the ability to notice the bandwidth of states which is fit for socializing, and then state control. You got to state control yourself into that bandwidth to socialize. That's my theory.
hmm. We just need to, it's so fascinating, man. Just the game of life, and thinking more of it as less of a game and more like game of life now. So it's all part of the game of life, you know. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting, like how like getting more in deeper into this. It's so fascinating to me, all the things you learn, you know.
Mm. And also, I think like once you get the gist of like one area, even though that's like something random, bowling, gym, social skills, you kind of learn how to learn life in general.
Yeah, exactly. Right. How long are we into this?
I don't know, man.
Maybe like an hour now. Not have too long on YouTube, right? Because it's a new account. It stopped us, didn't it? Like from posting longer than an hour.
No, it's. I think the time is okay. Like since I did the verification, we can do long thing.
Okay.
I think we did like 50
Last time was like
minutes.
just over. Okay.
Yeah, pretty
All
decent.
right. Yeah, this is a good one. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I think this is a good
Closing
one.
thoughts? Yeah, this is a good one.
Closing.
We're more giving value this time, right? Less talking random shit.
More giving value. It's more smooth as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Apart from the couple times my signal got cut out, but yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not
closing.
lying naked in bed either. A
That's
bit more
a
control than last time.
that's a big improvement. Yeah,
Yeah.
a big improvement. Mm, yes, you know what? Like, mm, I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts?
I think just brush up what we spoke about, like um, the speed at which people learn. I think intelligence is part of it, but you're right. Being more relaxed is also a huge part of it. The relaxed
Mm,
muscle. And I
mm,
never thought of it that way. It's not
mhm.
just our intelligence that improves our learning, but it's also being relaxed and going in with a
Mhm.
bit of ego, but not too much.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the other point, the summary of that. What was the other point? First thing we discussed.
Uh, bad short-term memory, bro. Shouldn't be asking me.
Yes, but I guess that's a good thing to learn today.
Yeah.
Be more kinder to yourself as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Always,
That was the
always
beginning of the
compare
call.
always compare to yourself if you've improved from your past self, not like try to be the best all the time, you know?
Yeah. Uh, I think it's like giving yourself carrots and sticks. You need the right balance. You know, it's like you're gonna get worn out if you give yourself the stick too much. But if you give yourself the carrot too much, you become like a princess, or you become very egotistical. So always be in the middle.
That's a very good closing thought, bro.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, me too.
I like. Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up, bro.
Right, bro. Nice talking to you as always.
Yeah. See you soon, man. Peace out.
Peace out.